chainers, wherever you are in the world, this is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey with you today. Are you ready? Let's talk supply chain. Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Thoughts and Coffee. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I am the founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain, as well as the Blended Podcast and the Blended Pledge. I am coming at you, not from my home studio as usual, but from Florida. I'm in Florida for the next little bit, probably just under about 2 weeks, and working today and tomorrow. And then I am on vacation, which I'm really excited about. So I'm happy to be here with you today. But of course, we could not do Thoughts and Coffee without our sponsors. Now, we just heard from Fastenal, and now Emerge is also proud to partner with Thoughts and Coffee to elevate our combined focus on empowering and growing meaningful relationships in the freight industry. The first and only freight-specific RFP platform, Emerge is reinventing freight procurement by offering solutions that enhance the spot and contract procurement process, enabling shippers to make the most strategic decisions possible, saving invaluable time and enhancing productivity. Learn more at emergemarket.com/thoughts and coffee. Well, we have a huge announcement today, which I am super excited about, but you have to wait just a minute because I can't announce it without our guest for today. So let's talk about what is happening at Let's Talk Supply Chain. So our newest episode is with Jonathan Kempe. You guys all know him as the host of Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia Pac. And this is another episode that you're not going to want to miss because we have a huge announcement on this episode as well. It's a two-part series. Part one just came out on Let's Talk Supply Chain yesterday, and part two is coming out on Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia Pac next Monday. And again, it's a really big announcement. So definitely stay tuned for that one. Plus, it's my anniversary today. I'm celebrating 9 years today with my husband, which I'm super excited about. And hello to everybody who's joining us. I'm going to get to those comments in just a second, but I do want to let everybody know, if you have not been to our Let's Talk Supply Chain YouTube channel, you definitely need to go and subscribe. This is where all of our shows hang out. So if you missed Log Tech Live with Eric Johnson last Friday, this is where you're going to be able to go catch up not only on that episode, but also on all of his other episodes. And then plus this Friday, No Bullshipping with Hope White is happening as well. And her show is exploding. If you have not watched it, make sure to come back to Let's Talk Supply Chain on YouTube or LinkedIn at 10 a.m. on Friday and check out her episode as well. And remember, we have a TikTok channel where we've got tons of really great supply chain content coming at you. And did you guys know that I have a supply chain dictionary? It's 107 pages of acronyms and definitions. And if you want to get it for free, just head over to the Let's Talk Supply Chain Instagram and DM us Talk1. All right. Now, without further ado, we've got our guest for today. Drum roll, please. Judd. Hello, Judd. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, Sarah. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I am super excited to have you here. So why don't you give everybody a bit of an introduction as to who you are, what you do. Then we're going to get into the poll, and then we're going to get into the big announcement, and then all of the articles about last mile delivery, because we've got a focus today on last mile delivery, which I am super excited about because it is just a world of its own.
Cool. Well, I'm excited about it too. It's what I do. So I'm excited all the time to talk about it. I'm really happy to be here to discuss it with you. First, before we start, happy anniversary, 9 years. It's a wild accomplishment. I'm 21 years. So, I got a few on you, but it's that's when we talk about relationships in the last mile between customers and brands, probably the hardest relationship ever to maintain is staying married for a long time. So good on you.
It's so true. And congratulations for you as well.
Yeah,
So
cool.
true.
So look, my name's Judd Marcello. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for FarEye. FarEye is a last mile delivery logistics company. We help companies make sure that their packages are delivered to their customers every time, on time, and accurately, and we do it sustainably as well. So we're really focused on the delivery process, specifically last mile.
I love that. And sustainability is something that we're going to be talking about today. It's a huge topic in supply chain. I have a fundamentals of supply chain sustainability out there on LinkedIn Learning just because everybody is kind of looking at supply chain from a sustainability standpoint. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you guys are doing something to help with it and also that we're going to be talking about it as well. So let's get into our poll of the week before we get to our big announcement. Let's talk a little bit about this. So every Wednesday morning, we ask you a question on our poll of the week. And that question is, if I can pull it up, here we go. Here we go. So last week we asked you, do you like to read about supply chain? So 79%, well, we had almost 1,100 votes, and we still have a week to go on this one. So 79% of you said yes, 2% of you said no, 18% of you said depends on the content, and 2% of you said who has the time. I'm actually shocked at that. I thought that percentage might be a little bit higher. And then I'm also curious as to the people who said no. Are you watching instead of reading, maybe? I don't really know. And then we had some really fun comments. So, Judd, I kind of threw this at you this morning.
Yep.
After seeing this particular poll, what do you think about these results?
Well, look, there's an overwhelmingly positive response on reading about supply chain. So hopefully these are people that are involved in the supply chain industry, not people with too much time on their hands. Otherwise, maybe they look for alternate sources and things to read about. But I like this because it's so important to stay on top of what's happening in the industry because it's dynamic right now based on all the challenges that are there and everybody that is trying to solve the problems that they have, but ultimately serve the end customer, whoever it is that's on the other end of a supply chain, in our case, delivery. I think what I'd say here is probably the most important thing is what source are you paying attention to when you're doing your reading?
Yep.
And I think that for me, the number one source that you should be paying attention when it comes to supply chain is your customer, because that's probably where you're going to find out what's really happening or what's not happening. And where there's a problem to solve and how you can be valuable, to that customer. So we pay attention to a lot of what our customers are saying about supply chain and how that's affecting them downstream from a deliveries point of view.
Yeah, well, and look at what Joy says. I was doing a research methodology. Last mile delivery was my given title to work on. So they are doing a lot of reading right now. And you're really going to love this episode because we have a focus on last mile. Plus, our first article that we're going to be talking about is something that you're definitely going to want for that research. And it's going to help you with your reading as well. So I can't wait to talk to you about that in just a minute. Yeah, for me, I thought that I was actually really curious because a lot of times I have people come to me and they're like, there's so much content out there. How do we consume it? Right. And there's a lot of ways to be able to consume that content. And that's through reading, that's through listening, that's through watching. And so the 79%, is a huge deal that people are really reading the content that's out there. And there's a lot of really, really great content out there. So I was really happy to see that. A lot of people talked about some really great resources in the comments. So we put the poll of the week in the comments right now. So go and check that out, read the comments, get some resources from people. FarEye's got some really good resources, especially on last mile delivery. We've got some resources across the supply chain over at letstalksupplychain.com. So definitely go and check that out and stay tuned for the poll of the week coming out tomorrow. I don't even think we know which one we're coming out with. So you're going to be just as surprised as we are. Which is awesome. All right, let's get to our big announcement. So, Judd, what's our big announcement? What have we got coming up in I think it's just a week from now.
Yeah, look, we're really excited to announce that we're becoming part of the Let's Talk Supply Chain Network with our own show. Drum roll, please. Yeah, starting next Thursday and the last Thursday of every month thereafter, we are going to bring you special delivery with FarEye. And special delivery with FarEye is all about the last mile. It's geared towards brands, shippers, and carriers and helping them turn their deliveries into a competitive advantage. that's really what we're focused on as a company. Like that's part of like who we are in a DNA point of view. Like we know that we are here to help you scale your business and to deliver great customer experiences. And that's what this show is going to be about, helping you understand how that you can do that, how you can prioritize the customer in last mile, how that you can create efficiencies within your delivery journey, first, mid, and last mile. And then, but ultimately, like how you can become a better business and grow your business by prioritizing deliveries and making them your competitive advantage. We're going to bring on customers. We're going to bring on thought leaders from inside our company. We're going to bring on thought leaders from outside the company. It's going to be highly engaging and geared towards helping you grow your business.
Well, and I think the best part about this too is that you're not only going to go live, but you're also going to have a playlist. We're going to go live on Let's Talk Supply Chain. We're going to go live on FarEye. We're going to have a playlist on our YouTube so you can always go and check out the episodes. Plus, if you're in the audience, you can engage with Judd and the guest in real time and ask your questions about last mile delivery. I mean, last mile delivery is a huge, huge topic right now, right? You've got the Amazon effect. You've got so much happening in the space, and we're going to talk about drones a little bit later on in the episode, but so much to think about. And a lot of the consumers returning to retailers are based on that last mile delivery experience. And so, how do we do that? And you've got so many different industries of, talking about last mile and what does that look like? And how do we reduce the carbon footprint? Because last mile has a huge impact on that as well. And so I think you're just as excited as I think I am, and the audience is, that they can come to that show and ask you all of their questions.
That's right. And that's really what we are in the industry. Yes, we have a technology that helps companies execute on their deliveries, but really what we are is largely a source of information here. We've been doing this now for almost a decade. We have a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of experience, not just in the US, but globally, where in some areas like Asia Pacific, where last mile is extremely complex. So like we feel as though we have something to offer customers and to the market in general, at least from a guidance standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually comes to our first article, because you have literally just announced an ebook that came out yesterday about last mile delivery, and it's called Last Mile Mandate. And so, talk to us about this. One of the stats that I read on this particular page was that 85% of consumers won't buy if they have a bad delivery experience. I mean, that is huge. Just think about how much it costs you to get a customer in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have a bad delivery experience and they're never coming back to you again. Or at least it's going to take quite a long time and probably a lot of money just to get them back through the door. Those are huge, huge numbers. So why did you come up with this ebook? I mean, what is it all about? And then we'll talk about some action items from it.
Well, look, it's beyond an ebook. It really is part of the ethos of the company. Right. This company was founded on making sure that deliveries were better for everyone. And that, in the almost 10 years since we've been doing this, that has really evolved. Like that is still important, but now the need for this is grown exponentially, largely because of what's happened in e-commerce over the past, 2 years, 2020, 2021, a flood of, online ordering and ultimately fulfillment and deliveries that are a result of that. This problem, it is a problem in terms of being able to deliver superior customer experience. It is not an easy task. The last mile itself, as part of the entire delivery journey, is usually the most complex and costliest. It's estimated that 53% of all costs of deliveries are associated to the last mile. So and we have customers, we have prospects coming to us saying, hey, help us solve this. So there is a massive need in the market. And we spent some time internally thinking about how do we help identify these problems? How do we help identify what the solutions are and help customers along the way? And that's why we created the Last Mile Mandate. So beyond just an ebook, it really is part of who we are and what we think we can offer to the market. And it's not really about proprietary, us being FarEye. This is a problem that's existing throughout the world, right? With multiple customers and multiple regions. And we want to be an objective voice to say, if you want to learn about how to create a better or superior customer experience, we can help you do that through the mandate. And that's really what the premise is.
I love that. And I think I have all these pop-ups coming up on the screen. This is why I do not use my laptop for live shows. I don't know what is happening. Anyways, no, I think that it's very timely, right?
Yeah.
Because like I saw an Instagram launch the other day of I think a company in Canada called I think it's Buggy or something like that. And they're promising, deliveries within 15 minutes
Yeah.
or something like that. I mean, I don't know how that's possible. Kudos to them for putting that together. But a lot of the research and things that we've been talking about on this show actually talk about how costly it is to do those 15-minute deliveries or to do those faster deliveries within an hour. And we've seen a lot of companies actually not be able to do it. And it's cost them too much money that they're no longer in business, to be perfectly honest with you. And so there's this fine balance, right, of really meeting customer expectations and demands, but then also being able to provide them with an experience that is realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back to what you said earlier, Sarah. That stat 85% of consumers that had a bad experience probably won't shop with that brand again. That came from some research that we did. It is the most telling stat that we receive from all the feedback because it just goes to show you how important the entire experience is. It's everybody wants their deliveries faster and they want them done cheaper, but it's more than that, right? Because one of the things that we like to say at the company is that the front door is the new storefront.
I
Right?
love that.
Because it's so true though, because the customer experience now extends to your home. And you have to be thinking about that doorstep as an extension of the customer experience that you offer. So accuracy of deliveries, on-time deliveries, returns as part of the process. It matters now more than ever because e-commerce is a bigger part of people's buying behaviors. So you have to think about all of that together as a cohesive delivery experience. And if you falter on that, then the loyalty and the satisfaction factors will go down. Consumers will go elsewhere. You lost a customer. Like you said, it's expensive to lose customers. So this mandate is really geared towards superior customer experiences and solving the challenges that people companies, brands are experiencing.
Yeah. Well, one question that I do have for you, after reading this, what are some of the actions that they can take from reading this ebook? Because action items are really important, right? When we take a look at resources and figuring out how we can work that within our businesses, what are some of the action items that they can put into place after looking at this ebook?
Okay, well, so I think the action items are indicative of the challenges that they experience. So what we found is like within last mile, there are 5 key challenges: routing, right? How to manage routing, responding to consumer demands, omni-channel fulfillment, sustainability, which we talked about, and then the returns process. And you have to think about the returns process as part of the delivery experience, even though you don't want returns, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So routing, customer demands, omni-channel delivery, sustainability, and returns, that's the challenge. As far as the actions go, not necessarily the actions, but where you need to focus your resources and take action would be in 4 key areas. And we really think this is what the mandate comes down to. Number 1, simplifying logistics complexity. In doing so, you become more efficient, you save money, you become more profitable, and your deliveries are more accurate and delivered on time. Okay, so simplifying logistics complexity. Second one is enhancing the customer experience, and we talked about that. You have to make sure you prioritize that. Even if you have the most efficient delivery mechanism, if your customer experience, the end user experience is bad, you're done. Third one is create differentiated offerings. If you become more efficient in the delivery process and you become more profitable as a result, invest back into new and differentiated offerings associated with delivery. Continue to make it easy for consumers to want to buy from you, and that your ability to deliver on time becomes part of their decision-making process where they spend their time and money. And the last one really focuses on what you talked about, sustainability. It is not a buzzword. People care about this more than ever now, and they know that they're ordering more, and they know that when they do, they impact the environment, and there's a guilt factor there. Some people just say, hey, get me my stuff. I need it no matter what. I don't care if I'm harming the environment. But really, this is becoming a big deal right now in terms of, I will shop with you if you are being environmentally responsible. Don't make me complicit in hurting the planet, right? So those are the 4 things.
I love that. And actually, that goes into our next article because we want to talk about sustainability and it being part of that last mile. And so this is a Forbes article, and it talks about how 60% of consumers are hesitant to buy from companies who are not sustainable, which is a huge number. Because I remember talking about this a few years ago with some sustainability experts, and they were like, yeah, people kind of say that, but their actions don't really reflect that. And I
Sure.
think that's completely changed now, especially with that 60% number. One of
Yeah.
the things that I was really excited to see was that one of the solutions to the emissions that are happening within the last mile delivery space is micro fulfillment. We've talked
Mm.
about this a couple of times on the show, where they're smaller spaces, they're closer to the customer, which means your last mile route is a lot shorter, which means you're lowering emissions by, I think it was 17 to 26%, which I thought was huge. So when you were reading this article, what did you think about what they were talking about and sort of the options around getting your consumer involved in the sustainability portion of their deliveries?
Yeah. So, well, a couple things there. Number one, in terms of micro fulfillment, it is a very interesting solution. You talk about what actions you can take. That is one of the emerging paths to creating more
Right.
efficient or more
Yeah.
sustainable deliveries. The trick with that is, in order to make that happen, you're utilizing a lot of outsourced network activity, whether that's the fulfillment centers themselves, potentially outsourcing your fleet, your trucks, right? And you need a way to manage all that. So it sounds like a great solution, on the face of it, but you have to make sure that you have the capabilities to manage that. So it's one thing to say you want to do it, it's another thing to have a strategy and an execution plan to get it done. So all these great solutions come with inherent challenges. That's one of the things that we help people do. Focus on delivering the outcome. We'll take care of the rest. So that's a big topic of conversation we have. People that say, hey, there are solutions out there to creating more sustainable deliveries. How do we do it? So
Ah,
that's part of why the mandate exists. We're going to help you do that. So I love that idea of micro fulfillment or bundling purchases or having parcel lockers, all great solutions. How do you get it done? That's the
yeah.
next challenge. So, yes.
No, no, it's so true. And actually, one of the thoughts that was in this article also was about giving your consumer options.
Yeah.
What are my delivery options and what is the sustainable impact to that delivery option? If
Well,
it's a 5-day option and it lowers my emissions by a certain percentage, they might choose it, right? As long as I've got options and I know what it means and I know what my personal impact is because of it, they're going to make decisions based off of that and just think about the data you can collect.
yeah, totally. I think you're so right. Like, hey, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? That old premise. You said 65% of consumers say sustainability is a factor in whether or not they do business with a brand. That's an amazing stat. The other couple that came out of that one, I think it was 70. I think consumers that said that brands who prioritize sustainability, 78%, they see a 78% increase in loyalty and like a 60 something percent increase in satisfaction. Those two things together demonstrate that there is a demand out there for more sustainable options. So it's absolutely essential that you do ask and put it out there, because everybody has priorities, right? Everybody thinks one thing is more important than the other. And some people just may want it now, 15 minutes, right? Or they may say, hey, look, I don't want to harm the planet. I want to be responsible here. I can wait a few extra days.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right. So we do need to get to our last article. And one of your questions on this article was, how do we get it done? And so my question to everybody is, are drones the answer? I think I've been talking about drones on Let's Talk Supply Chain since season 1. And that was, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, my co-host was obsessed with drones and was like, yes, this is the answer. We're going to see all these drones flying in the air. But there are some challenges. And in this particular article, they talk about those challenges.
Yeah.
What are the challenges around drones? Walmart's been using them for years. Amazon's been using them for years. We don't necessarily see them. They're mostly in rural areas.
Hmm.
And so is this really the answer? I don't know. What they talk about is that last mile delivery is 53% of the total delivery cost on a
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Like, that is huge. And so if we can reduce that, I mean, companies with their last mile delivery strategies are tasked with so much, right? With 53% of that being, part of their cost. That's huge.
Yeah.
And then getting it there faster and. So are drones the answer, Judd?
I don't know if drones are the answer specifically. We won't know. You're going to still be talking about this for the next 5 years. But what drones mean to me is innovation. And when we talk about the last mile challenges, we talk about the last mile mandate and how we're coming together. This idea of innovation probably underpins all of that, because it's innovation that's going to lead us down the path of creating more efficient solutions, et cetera, et cetera. So I like drones for the fact that they imply innovation, and we're thinking about progress here. Whether or not drones become mainstream, or however long that takes to become mainstream, that's a different topic altogether. But what I like about it is innovation, and I think the challenges that are inherent with this are probably less about the customer experience than they are regulations and disruptions to the day-to-day life and how to actually. It's a very complicated premise to be able to say, like, we're going to start to deliver through drones and it's become mainstay. It's just going to take a while. I like the fact that we're innovating here. I like that people are looking at alternative ways to satisfy like fulfillment, and we need to be progressive. So I don't know if they're the answer, but I think it's really smart that companies, especially with big pockets, are investing in it, like Walmart.
Well, here's some stats from that particular article. So drones are 20 times faster and they have no fossil fuels. But my question to that is it really that much more efficient delivering one package at a time? I mean, being 20 times faster, I guess they can go back and forth like
Right.
a lot more times, but I still don't know. I mean, a truck full of parcels versus one drone moving one parcel at a time. I don't know. We'll see. Some of
Yeah,
the key
I agree.
challenges in this particular industry is investment costs. It's highly, highly expensive, right? To be
Yeah.
able to do all of the testing that they need to do. The operating costs go up. So it's $63 to do a drone delivery versus $5 to deliver by truck. I mean, that's a huge cost. And I don't know if consumers will actually absorb it. Urban airspace is not ideal. I mean, you got the large, tall buildings and all sorts of things. I think I was watching a TV show the other day while they were trying to move a drone in an urban space and it didn't work because the signal was bouncing off of all the buildings. So, will we see it in urban areas? I think they've got a long way to go. They can only do small packages, they can't do large packages, right?
Sure.
Because of the size of the drone. And then safety is a concern. It talks about a story in Switzerland where a drone crashed into a bunch of students,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so they need to make sure that obviously it's safety. And I've mentioned this on the show before. If I am in my backyard, sun tanning or whatever, I don't want a drone flying over me and taking film or video or whatever, and then it's out there, So then I think there's also privacy concerns. It doesn't talk about it in this article, but I think there needs to be, like you said, regulations. There's privacy concerns. We need to be careful of what that drone is filming when it's going over people's houses, because that takes it to a whole nother level and I don't like it. Anyways, just before we end off, I do want to talk to everybody about our upcoming events. Oh, I'm not even on that page yet. All right. So what have we got coming up? So I have a live stream happening with Demand Driven Technologies. That is happening on August 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. AJ is going to put the link to this particular post in the comments so that you guys can go and register for our upcoming events. I'm also going to be hosting the digital portion of the Imagine Conference in Washington, happening September 6th through 8th. So make sure to come and see us. And I'm going to be at Home Delivery World in Philadelphia at the end of August, and I'm going to be podcasting on site. So make sure you come over and say hello. Of course, we've got Manifest happening in Vegas in January. I'm also going to be podcasting on site there as well. We've got action items with DC Sfrigola. We've got Log Tech Live. And you can catch those over on our YouTube page. We also have Intelligent Automation Week over in Chicago at the end of this month as well. No Bullshipping is happening this Friday. And of course, we've got Forge Engage with Procurement Foundry. That is happening in Vegas in November. Plus, I've got a whole bunch more that I'm going to be letting you know of soon, because I'm going to be all over the place in the end of Q3 and Q4. And I cannot wait to see everybody. So thank you all for joining us. Next week, I'm on vacation. So Audrey is in the hot seat. She's going to be hosting Thoughts and Coffee, and her guest is going to be Daniel from Chai by Daniel. And that's going to be a great conversation because you got two shippers in the room and they're going to be talking about what's been going on with their businesses and the disruptions and inventory and all sorts of stuff. So you're going to want to come back and see us next week. Judd, I cannot wait for your show next week. This is going to be amazing. Welcome to the Let's Talk Supply Chain family.
Thank you so much. We're really excited. Special delivery starts next Thursday, every last Thursday of every month. We're going to be there. You should be there too.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.